It is July 12th, and I have not watched Black Widow. Should I, though? Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix. My name is Chris Wong. Today we're going to be talking about the Justice League motion comics. There's a new look at it. Looks pretty cool. James Gunn talks a little bit about his Suicide Squad. Peter Safran also compares the Suicide Squad to a Steven Spielberg movie. Margot Robbie, is she still going to be playing Harley Quinn after? And finally, we get a new look at Black Adam. Or, Back Adam. Now, as you know, there's an unofficial motion comics for Justice League, and this is called Dreamscapes of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It details the original storyboards of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. This creative team were able to enlist voice actors such as Harry Lennox and Ray Porter, and the first shot of Batman looks pretty epic so far. But now we get a new look at the Justice League comic, and I'm really liking how this looks. This is actually coming from Wonder Meg. She released this picture of Green Lantern's light. Oh my god, that looks amazing. You actually do see depth to it. There even has that blur. I want to say, if they are able to shoot this thing, or at least draw this thing, like Zack Snyder's using his Dream Lens, that'd be pretty amazing. Now, Wonder Meg says that this non-profit project that, all apparently will all be going to the AFSP, it will be released in 4:3 ratio with 4K UHD. That's amazing. Just like Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I still feel like I wanted to see how this original storyboards that Jim Lee and Zack Snyder and Jeff Johns worked on back then would have really looked like if it actually came to pass. I mean, we already got the storyboards revealed for us, so we know exactly what happens from beginning to end, but there is no actual dialogue. So I'm really curious how long this project is going to be, how big, how much dialogue is in it, and how much can they really fill in the blanks of what happens from A to B through this Justice League 2 and 3. But whatever it may be, it is absolutely for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is awesome. Charity is always awesome. And 2, it just looks amazing. And I want to see what this looks like. So I'm really excited for Zack Snyder's Justice League motion comics for 2 and 3. Now, James Gunn tweeted out this little video of the Suicide Squad, and it really showcases the Polka Dot Man's powers. It showcases Bloodsport, Harley Quinn, a lot of high-flying action, including a pretty cool action sequence for Harley Quinn. I mean, it looks pretty awesome. The effects, the physicality of it looks like it's going to be a fun ride. In fact, Peter Safran actually teases about the opening scene of the Suicide Squad. He said this: "The opening of our movie is basically Saving Private Ryan. Our crew lands on a beach during a big battle, and there's a lot of water and sand and set in Corto Maltese, so we built a beach. 260 feet wide. Holy cow, that's huge! A giant tank, wave machines, thousands of trees. That's what Beth and her team built. And we filmed there for the first 10 days at night on this beach, explosions and helicopters and everything else." That's interesting that he compared it to Saving Private Ryan. So I'm going to bet that there's a lot of people, or at least a lot of the Suicide Squad members, the first team, are all going to die. At least most of them are going to die. I mean, you don't see a lot of these characters in a lot of the trailers, so I'm thinking they're not going to last long, are they? I feel like Captain Boomerang is not going to be coming back. Now, many folks in the industry are hearing that the Suicide Squad is quite good and quite jaw-dropping, a spectacle, all of that. But they're also saying that it's not making enough noise. This is coming from Viewer Anon. Remember that guy? He talked about Matrix 4 and how it was meta and weird? Well, this is his opinion about the Suicide Squad. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about the Suicide Squad quality, but it seems like there's zero hype for it. I'm not saying it will happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if we're looking at Birds of Prey-like performance. Now, Birds of Prey only made about $200 million in the global box office. That's not that much compared to the first Suicide Squad movie, which almost made $800 million worldwide without China. I'm also very curious about how this movie is going to do. I think Birds of Prey shows that Harley Quinn alone can't get that box office up. Maybe, in fact, that the first Suicide Squad had Batman, had Joker, had Will Smith. So I'm curious, this time around, will the Suicide Squad be popular? Now, we are talking about a post-COVID-19 era, and generally, box office is not that great. At any rate, it's definitely not going to be the same box office as if it was before COVID-19, so I don't think people are expecting that. But we'll see what happens with the Suicide Squad. Speaking of the Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie plays Harley Quinn. This is going to be her third time playing the character Harley Quinn. And speaking to EW, it seems like she's taking a break from Harley Quinn because she doesn't know when she's going to be playing Harley Quinn again. It was kind of back-to-back filming Birds and filming this, so I was kind of like, oof, I need a break from Harley because she's exhausting. I don't know when we're next going to see her. I'm just as intrigued as everyone else is. Which is surprising because I thought she was having conversations with James Gunn about, coming back as Harley Quinn in Gotham City Sirens or Suicide Squad 3. And this interview was back in June, so things may have changed this month. And apparently Margot Robbie hasn't even seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, so she didn't even know about Batman talking about her demise back in Zack Snyder's Justice League. What? Said Robbie, genuinely flabbergasted. I didn't know that. Laughs. Thank you for telling me. And her thoughts were this. I guess it's kind of like the comics. The film version of the DC universe, I actually think they're a lot like the comics. You pick up one comic and something's happening, and then you pick up the next comic and maybe that character is not alive. Maybe that character is not with that person. Maybe that character looks completely different. Each movie is its own sort of thing, and I think that works in the comic book world, and I think that works in the DC film world as well. It's not like Marvel, where everything is more obviously linked in a more linear way. It feels like there's so many adjacent stories, worlds, and films happening at the same time, just like they are in the comics. So yeah, I didn't know that, but it doesn't necessarily change what other people are able to do with this universe, I don't think. What one director decides, I don't think dictates what another director might be able to pick up and do with the world and the characters, which is fun. I think that's an appealing aspect for directors in the DC world. They can make it their own, the way James did. He didn't have to be beholden to the version that David Ayer set up. He could pick it up and make it his own, which I'm sure was more appealing for him. And I absolutely agree with this. I think this way, every director can have their own creative vision. And if each director continues on their own story, they can create their own little many universes within this multiverse. And of course, anything to make Zack Snyder's Justice League continue on would be awesome. So why is Warner Brothers not continuing the Snyderverse when this is the idea that we're having for DC from now on? Alright, let's talk about The Rock! Or in this case, Black Adam. Or should I say, Back Adam? Yeah, we finally have a new look at Black Adam, and it's from his back. This is what The Rock had to say. On set, Black Adam. This image of Black Adam from behind gives you a tactile sense of the absolute massive scale and size of our movie and appropriate destruction. You see, superheroes have a code of justice and don't kill the bad guys. But Black Adam does. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is changing. The anti-hero, the man in black, the protector of the people, Black Adam, the protector of the people. He's going to full on kill in this movie. It's PG-13, but you can do quite a lot with PG-13. I mean, before he said that he's going to rip bodies apart, and I'm like, really? You're going to really rip bodies apart in this movie? Really? Wow, that's kind of... But he's absolutely hyping up the massive scale, and I really like this shot because it does convey that. Massive scale, destruction, and he's a pretty huge guy. I mean, look at that suit. He does not need padding. The Rock is padding. But whatever happens, I still need to see Black Adam go against the greatest superhero of all time, Superman. And thanks to Da Trinity, he's got a new art for us to look at, and it is quite amazing. Yes! One day dreams will come true, and Henry Cavill will be back in the suit, and he's going to tackle on The Rock, Black Adam. Because you know what? Shazam's gonna get killed. Come on, Shazam's gonna get killed. I mean, can you imagine, like, Shazam shows up and he's gonna like, hey, Shazam, what's going on? And okay, all right, I'll stop talking now, jeez.